He's been out of the league 1 year.
All right, so let's go. So we were just talking about on All In Sports, coaches that got overlooked, guys that got overlooked. So, Jack, I brought up Rajon Rondo. You said that was your guy. Tell me why you think he's a guy that you should look into or think about as a head coach going forward.
Well, I watched him straight from draft when he came to Boston, and then he had the privilege of working with the big three. He can just distribute that ball so much when he played. He was the quarterback, and the quarterback's almost like the coach. And then he went to the Lakers, as I heard earlier on the show. I didn't agree with that fit anyway, yet LeBron James stated he got him there for his basketball IQ.
Right.
And that's something we know he has. I don't see why he won't. I mean, he's only been down, this season and last season?
Yeah, he's probably been out of the league a couple years, but I think the key for him is when you watch a kid that comes in as a rookie and then plays in that position or in that situation that is Boston, and for him to have the audacity to take that team by the horns and lead them to the playoffs, and then a year later lead them to the finals, I think it's something special. So that's why I believe he could be a coach in this league. I just think the situation was that LA wasn't the right fit for him.
Not at all.
And I think if he can find him in the right situation, he's got to have a team that's going to have a guard that's like him. If he doesn't have a guard like him, he's going to struggle. And I think that's where the questions come into play.
So what do you think? Do you think there would be a possibility of him coming in with an assistant position, or?
No, I think he wants to.
Redick thing straight to the top.
Yeah, I think he has to go straight to the top.
Okay.
The same thing with Jason Kidd. Kidd didn't waste too much time on the sideline. He was right there, right away. I think everybody's overblowing JJ just because it's the Lakers, but you got to remember, we had Nash do the same thing. And I think JJ, if you listen to JJ talk basketball, JJ knows basketball.
Ooh, yes, I have heard several.
You know what I'm saying? And then from him being the way he had to play, JJ knows basketball because he didn't have the greatest athletic skill set where he could dominate from an athletic standpoint. It's different when you play sports and you can't be an athlete to be good. You got to be smarter to be good.
I concur. He was a shooter.
Right.
A lot difference. He's not going to the hole, swinging around the rim and all that stuff. He's a shooter. And he'd run and run. He never stood still. He used to run around all the picks, covered by the best player on every team in the country. I mean, to go through that and survive and keep your sanity, it shows what kind of pressure he can handle.
Well, let's even talk about the whole situation with JJ dealing with the crowds and the different stadiums he went into and having to fight pretty much the crowd for part of the game, and then the team he was playing for part of the game. Mm-hmm. That becomes a thing. He doesn't get a chance to enjoy the experience of being a college athlete because he's fighting every night for respect. He's fighting for his.
It was like that in high school too for him his junior senior year. So,
right.
He's always been hated.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. It's a thing where, from a basketball standpoint, I think he's earned a certain level of respect. And I think whenever Chris Paul decides to hang it up, I think he's the next guy. That's going to be one of these guys that we get as a year or two out of the league, and all of a sudden they become coaches. So I think he has enough ability to kind of manage a team as well.
Chris Paul's either going to be a coach or he's going to work for Allstate when he retires.
No, it's State Farm. State
Farm. There you go. I tell you, he's killing it with them commercials, man.
Nah. I think
Chris.
He would
I like
be,
Chris too.
I think Chris will be, if he leaves now, he's got one of two things. He's either going to coach or he's going to be part of whatever the team is that replaces the TNT guys when we do this new Amazon NBC project that the NBA has. Big Dog, you got any thoughts?
I'll just review everything y'all say, but I ain't gonna say nothing right now. I'm doing something else.
You disagree with that?
I don't think J.J. Redick deserved that job. I don't think J.J. Redick. You got to prove to me when it's like 3 seconds left to go in the game, you down by 4. How can you win this game?
How do you prove it?
What kind of strategy you gonna put up? Well, you got to prove it. He hasn't proved that. I mean, anybody can coach for 46 minutes, but the last 2 minutes it counts.
Okay, but when does he get to choose that, or when does he get to do that?
Well, he got a chance this year. I don't think the Lakers make the play-in this year.
I think the Lakers have a bigger problem. I think the Lakers are pretty much shot for the next 4 to 6 years because
you could thank LeBron James for that.
Yeah, and I think the problem is they did not draft well. They didn't do anything to put themselves in position to be a better team.
I disagree with that. You look at all the talent the Lakers gave away since LeBron been there around the league. Look at
everybody talks, but those guys wouldn't get this. Those guys aren't getting the shots they would get when LeBron's there. So you talking about? All right,
that's why you don't have no talent because LeBron
hear me out.
Away.
Hear me out. So you're talking about first. Let's talk about a guy like Josh Hart. Well, Josh Hart is probably the 4th or 5th option with the Lakers. So he's not getting the opportunities to make the rebounds. He's not getting the opportunities to do what he's doing. Julius Randle is either 3 or 4. And if we've ever seen the 3 or 4 guy with any LeBron team, they don't get shot opportunities either. So they're not missing out on talent. The problem that they're having is the young guys that they're drafting don't produce. So like they drafted a kid, Max Christie, 2 years ago, gives them nothing. They drafted another kid with a hyphenated name last year. He wears number 0. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He gave them nothing last year. Like their problem is for you to have a team that's so top heavy, you have to draft well and get guys going. Go ahead, Jack. What you got?
I done went back to NBA then. I wanted to talk about Caleb Martin. The word out is that Caleb Martin's going to sign a 4-year deal with the Sixers. And I think that's a nice fit for him because you got George, you got Oubre, and then you got Martin. He's not that old. He's 28 years old. I think he can still run the floor. And they got a good selection of wings to substitute and rotate. That helps them a lot.
Yeah, but I think a guy like him
every year not made the Eastern Conference Finals. It's between Boston and New York and Milwaukee. That's it. They just don't have a bench. And the Sixers.
That's their problem. And I think that's what they brought Martin in for. And that's why they stopped paying a bum like Tobias Harris.
Where's Tobias Harris at now?
I think he went to Detroit.
Detroit? Okay.
Yeah. He left. He's not still in Philly.
Philly waived that kid, Paul Reed is his name. He was actually a 55-plus pick in the NBA draft. Ooh, don't know what year, but he was the guy that went to G League and won Rookie of the Year, and then I want to say the following year he won the MVP in G League. So that's how Philly got him. But I got a feeling he's going to pick up elsewhere in the league, and his name is Paul Reed. He's a young kid.
Okay.
Familiar with him?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because he came in, I think he had a game where he gave them 20 points in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So Correct. He showed up. He didn't show up consistently, but he showed up for a night or two.
So I think they're going to be all right there. The East definitely beefed up a little bit. I think the West didn't.
All right, Jack, let's go off the board. Because we talked about basketball. Let's talk a little baseball. You're a Nats fan. You're not a Nats fan. You're a baseball fan. So the O's are 3 up on the Yankees. The Nats are struggling and trying to find their way. They made a bunch of moves to trying to figure out their team. Mm-hmm. As a local baseball fan, how do you feel about where we are consuming baseball right now?
As in where the Nats and the Orioles are?
So like the Orioles in first place. So like, how do you feel about that?
They better hold on. It's going to be a bumpy ride after the All-Star game, man. I'll tell you. New York might be sliding a little bit, but Boston's on fire. Boston's won 15 of their last 20. They are just on fire. They're playing the Yankees right today, I believe. I'm not sure who won that.
Right, they won last night, I think.
Tampa Bay's not playing bad right now, so the Orioles better pull up their shorts, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. It's not going to be a coast. And to win 101 games 2 years in a row is hard to do, and that's their goal. I think they're over 50 right now, but there's still almost a whole second half of ball to play. The Nets, they just seem to shoot themselves in the foot all the time. Like that game last night, they had things going pretty well. And then a double play at third base ended the 10th inning with the winning run on third. So,
yeah. I mean, they've had situations all week long, and last night was their third game in a row that they lost the baseball game, pretty much in the last few innings of the night. So their problem is they just can't get right. They're in a spot right now, and I think part of the problem is they're gonna have to cut some fat, and they just started doing it. So if you were paying attention, they sent down Joey Meneses, the AAA, to get Juan Yepez up here, just because they need somebody that's gonna hit the baseball. And then they just sent down Nick Senzel. I don't know if they DFA'd him or if they just released him outright, but they're starting to make moves to get some of these young guys that were hitting early on. And the problem I had with them was I think they should have gotten off the Senzel bucket when he got hurt the first week of the season, and the kid Limscomb gave them something. I think they should have tried to just go ahead and either stick with him or give him a month down the minors, and then the next time Senzel kind of just wavered, you should just go right back to that bag.
You think coaching has anything to do with that?
Nah, I don't think it's
all the
coaching.
mishaps in the past weeks.
Nah, I think it's youth. I think it's youth. It's a team that's not good. They're just not good enough yet. So right now, everything, if they're not perfect,
say that again. The Nationals are too young. They gotta get a couple draft picks in at certain positions. They'll be fine in a couple of years. The Orioles are just missing that one big I don't know if it's a pitcher.
It's a pitcher.
Or a bat.
It's a pitcher.
One and
they got the bats 1 through 6.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Not to take them to the World Series. They don't have it. They need that one.
Yeah, they do.
I disagree.
I'm telling you now,
1 through 6 is tight.
They're not going to make the American League pennant. It's going to be either, if you ain't been paying attention, somebody's coming back. They're only 2 games out of first place. They call the Houston Astros, and here they come.
So that's your team. That's your team.
I ain't worried about the Yankees. The Yankees will be fine. And Seattle got the pitching. I think they'll be fine by the time playoff time come around. Their bats will open up. The Orioles are just missing that one big I don't know if it's a pitcher or a batter. I've been saying that
pitcher.
Day one, they need to get something like that. Until they get something like that, they're gonna be what they are. They'll probably dominate through the year and get to the playoffs and fumble. They will be the Buffalo Bills of baseball.
No.
The Orioles have enough hitting between the kids they've drafted and everything. They'll be fine on the hitting aspect. I agree with you totally on the pitching. Because
I agree with that.
It comes down to pitching. Ain't about no hit.
No, I totally agree with you on the pitching piece. So I think they have to they made their big move to get Burns, but I think they have to get another guy, because also in hindsight or in the aftermath of all of this is they lost 2 guys to elbow surgery that would be their normal second or third guy.
Solid.
And because they're gone, they're gonna struggle. So that's why they have to have a fix for pitching.
But they got the cookie jar to pick somebody up in free agency. Yeah. Down in the minors, it's just who you gonna use it on. I'd like to see him try to get Scherzer over there without giving up nobody out of the minor leagues.
Texas is not giving you Scherzer.
So
you don't think Texas is going to give him up, huh? I think they are. If they tank, they're going to give him up.
Texas is not tanking. Texas is right there.
How many? 5?
Like 5, 6 games out. They're not out.
Okay, it's still. I know.
They're in the wild card,
but it's still July.
Right, but that's why.
I'm talking.
And Scherzer just came back.
September. Trade Scherzer. Boom. September. I'm telling you. Watch.
You can't trade him in September because the deadline is
Into
like
August.
August 1st.
And same, man. I'm talking. You know. Are you gonna count me down to the days? August.
No,
Trade him
I'm
in
not
August.
getting you down to the days, but I'm just telling you, I don't see Scherzer as an option. I think their options are going to be guys on teams like the Chicago White Sox, who's pretty much out of it, and they're looking for an option to release a guy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like the Miami Marlins, where they may have a kid that's got an arm or two, or you looking at somebody like the Colorado Rockies. You know, you're talking about teams that's going to be out of it, that's willing to give up talent to get talent. Actually, the Nationals might be a good place for them. You know, if they can get a guarantee that Trevor Williams is going to give them something, maybe they give up a player for Trevor Williams. That's where I think for the Orioles, where it comes in, is you may not get a top tier arm, but as long as you can get an arm, somebody that's going to eat innings and help you out in the long run, you can be fine.
The Nationals they're only 4.5 out the last wild card spot. And you're saying Scherzer, Texas is 7.5 out in the wild card, but in the regular standings, they're only 6 back from the division.
So here's the difference. Texas they've had injuries, and they haven't had their full team up to this point. Everybody's kind of like starting to come back. So I can see Texas making a run. We're in July. And the beauty of baseball is you get the dog days of summer. So whereas you may not win in July, but in August, all of a sudden you hit a streak. Like, let's think about like that Oakland team that won 21 ball games in a row from like August to the early parts of September, or the Atlanta team that came back on the Mets from being like 10 games back, and in August and September they hit a run and ended up winning the division. So Texas has enough explosive bats in their lineup that I'm not worried about Texas. I just think Texas had to get through what they had to get through to get to where they are now.
Can Texas and Astros overtake Seattle?
I think so.
Okay.
I really do.
And now
I think
the
Seattle
championship game again this year.
No, I don't know about that.
Why not?
You're not getting me to get your Houston Astros in the championship game.
Why not? They've been there 7 years in a row.
I know, but I just don't think they get there this year. I think the Yankees or
what other team can beat them? Maybe the Yankees.
I think the Yankees and the Orioles.
I don't think the Orioles have enough.
I think the Orioles with Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. If you get Anthony Sander to hit the baseball, you got Ryan O'Hearn. I think they can give you something. Yeah.
Colton Cowser.
And I think Baltimore is just one of those situations where they got to figure out who the 8 guys are, or the 9 guys that they got to put in their lineup that's going to make them better and like make them the right team.
Year is next year. I'll say that.
You know what? I don't disagree with that. I definitely don't want that. I prefer that to happen, because I can't have my boy having the Boston Celtics and the Orioles win. So yeah,
I'm gonna carry this the same way. I'm gonna ride this train the same way I rode that.
And the Orioles beat the Dodgers.
Yeah,
7 games.
Yeah, because I gotta worry about the Dodgers pitching.
They need Mookie back.
They'll have Mookie back by then.
And what about?
But I don't think Mookie's the key, because you got Freddie Freeman and you got Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
And then
what about Smith? Is he
and
out?
The sad part about it.
Nah, Smith actually.
The sad part about the Dodgers. The Dodgers are a year away. This is not their team. Next year, the Dodgers gonna be lethal.
But you know why they're a year away? Because their pitchers.
It's all about
because their pitchers. And not even Ohtani.
Yeah.
Their other pitchers are hurt too. It's not just Ohtani that's hurt for the Dodgers. They have 2 other guys that are out for Tommy John or whatever, so they won't pitch this year. So they're right there. The Dodgers got all the talent in the world. And I think last night Will Smith had like a rare 3 at-bats, 3 home runs last night.
It was amazing.
Because I saw the last home run on TV.
Mhm. So what do you two think about the Guardians being in the position they are right now? That wasn't predicted.
But they do the same thing.
It's their
They gonna
pitching.
take a dump?
No, their pitching is their pitching is their key.
It is. It is. I just
And then
don't see
Steven
him.
Kwan's hitting like something like 364, 375, something crazy like that. So with Kwan hitting the way he's hitting,
Well, they
and I
got
don't
Fry
think they've
hitting
gotten
over
their
his
best-
head.
who?
Fry.
Yeah.
He's
And
hitting
then
over his head. I
you
don't
got Ramirez who hasn't even hit up to his level. So they're going to be in the mix as long as they can pitch.
If
So-
Ramirez can pick it up. I mean, Ramirez, man,
He-
how old is he now?
He's probably in his early 30s.
Yeah. If he can pick
Yeah.
it up, man. I don't think
It's
they
not
can
a
rely
if.
on Ramirez. Not
That's
saying
the only
you
thing
said
they've
that.
had. That's the only thing they've had the last couple of years.
That's what I'm trying to say. Why I don't think they're gonna make it.
Yeah, they going to be there.
They not.
Cleveland gonna be there. They do the same thing every year. I mean, it's nothing different.
They not.
Cleveland's only problem is Cleveland doesn't invest money enough into Cleveland's product. From a standpoint
Okay.
of investing in talent, the Cleveland and the Nationals do the same thing. They will rely heavily on their farm system. They'll rely heavily on everything else before they get to like trying to add from outside. And they're not trying to add from outside as much as possible.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, I mean, we got training camp coming up. Anything sticks out to you real quick before we gotta go?
We
In
got
terms
15
of-
we got 15 minutes.
Yeah. So anything stands out from a training camp standpoint? Teams coming in. Any questions you got? Are you a Skins guy or you're a Ravens guy?
I'm Washington.
All right, so like let's talk about that real quick before we get out of here. Skin standpoint, is there something that they didn't address that they should have addressed in this all season that you didn't feel comfortable with?
I would have addressed the offensive line a little more. They did address it. You know, they got a couple. They got a nice lineman from Dallas. I believe he's a center guard. And
Yeah, Biotic.
yeah, I think he's going to be solid help because we need Daniels to have the time to do what he does. We need any quarterback we've had to have the time to do what they do. They need to get Terry McLaurin in the game plan more. I'm sorry, McLaurin should be getting Jerry Rice passes.
Right.
He should be getting
Right, I understand.
10 passes a game at least thrown his way. And it's not happening in Washington. It hasn't happened in Washington. I thought the enemy was going to do it. I mean, because you got to be blind not to see the talent that Terry McLaurin has. Maybe bringing these new guys in. And they got a young boy in the slot, tight end slot player. But maybe that'll help. Have him going across the middle. We got.
Are you talking about
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey or are you talking about Stennett?
Stennett. Talking about
Okay.
Stennett. He plays both positions. And then I was going to say we got McCaffrey also. I know he's going to have the work ethic that his brother has because they work out together. And
Okay.
I'm not saying he's going to be a McCaffrey, but there's some athleticism in that McCaffrey blood. We all know that. So
For sure.
the key is Jaden Daniels having, picking up the offense, knowing the offense, making the offense work. It's Jaden Daniels a lot on his shoulders this year. So,
You sound like you act like they're gonna make the playoffs.
no sir.
They
I'm
might
a
win.
little excited.
They may win between 5 and 7 games. May.
I'll take 7.
That's gonna be pushing.
I'll take 7 with a rookie
They
quarterback.
cannot take out of their starting 12.
I got
They cannot
over.
afford an injury. Their backups
I got
are not
the over.
very good at all.
No,
I got
Their
the
depth
over.
is not very good. Huh?
I think the over is 6.5. I got over 6.5. I think they'll win 7 or 8 ball games
If
because
get
they're
injuries
getting
to their
better quarterback play.
linebackers or their offensive line.
Say that again.
Oh,
What were
Oh,
you
You
saying?
said some of their linebackers.
The linebackers are probably right now the strength of their team. Believe it or
Right.
not.
Right. No, I totally
Then
agree
the
with
wide receivers. The wide receivers and the linebackers. So
you. Right. I totally agree. I
offensive
think the
line
difference.
injury or linebacker injury, the season's over. All right there.
No. So linebacker, I think they can live with an injury. So if like Bobby Wagner gets hurt, you got the kid McGee that's going to fill in for him. I think they're set in the middle of the field. I think their issue becomes on the outside. I think you know, between St. Juice, what's the cornerback, the dude that weighs number 13, that weighs 110 pounds?
Mississippi State.
Forbes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think their secondary is pretty solid.
I think their
with the linebackers.
corners are weak, but I think their safeties are strong. So that's where I think they can kind of try to hide some guys. I think this year is going to be a situation where Washington may win more ball games because of coaching. And I'm a big guy on coaching because I think coaches can help a team find prosperity. Go ahead, Jack.
I forgot one thing about the Washington team this year. They got Austin Eckler on the squad as well. And that can help a young rookie quarterback because Eckler is a pass-catching receiver. He's
He's injury prone. He get a little nick and there.
I give you that. But
That was his problem with the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree, big dog. If you give me that, though, I take 8 games out of an explosive player like Eckler and hope I can get 12.
8 games out of him.
You know, I'll take 8 and hope I can get 12.
This team is 2 or 3 years away, maybe a couple of draft picks or free agents away from doing anything significant.
I think they're a year away.
I
I don't know if it's 2, but I think they're 1.
And we still got Dotson, too, on the roster, correct? I think we still got
I'm
Yes.
gonna say the reason I'm saying 2 or 3 years because you still got too many powers in the NFC that are coming.
I get it, dog.
That-
No,
that-
I don't.
That have passed them already in the past couple of years.
Philly and
No,
Dallas.
no. So, big dog,
I'm
I don't
talking about the whole
take what
NFC
you say.
period. I ain't talking about this Philly and
Oh,
Dallas.
Lord, Cookie.
The whole NFC North by itself.
You're right.
It's a
Because I
month.
can see Chicago. I can see Chicago if things play out right. I can see Chicago winning 9 or 10 ball games because of their defense. I can
got
see,
Chicago maybe doing the same
Detroit.
thing. Maybe making the last wild card. Chicago, maybe.
I can see Detroit winning 10, and I can see Green Bay winning 10. The
I got
problem
Green
comes
Bay
back
winning
to
12. I got Green Bay winning 12.
you got to bet that, big dog.
You got another question.
You
How
got to
long-
bet
I
that.
Green Bay. I actually got Green Bay winning the North.
Okay.
I think Detroit will be the wild card.
Hey,
it's going to
what
flip
we really need to do-
I think Atlanta and Tampa Bay will battle in the South, but I think Tampa Bay will win it. I just don't think Atlanta has enough defense. The West.
If I can make a suggestion,
I think the West is between the 49ers and the Rams, but I would not count the Cardinals out.
I'd like to see what the Rams
Seahawks
do
will be
this year.
around.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals are too far away.
I said the Cardinals not going to do nothing, but they'll be around. They'll cause
got you.
problems.
Yeah.
They'll cause a problem because they had the youth, and their youth was last year, and I think they make another step this year.
I got you. So if I can make a suggestion, I think we should have
Sam Howell is gonna shine bright in Seattle. Believe that.
I don't think so, but
I do.
I think he has a chance, but I don't know. I think the best thing that's going to happen for him is he's going to actually have an offensive coordinator that will build a plan
And
that makes
offensive line.
sense.
He
No,
gonna have
it's not even
offensive
offensive line. It's because I think he was part of the problem as much as the offensive line was.
I mean,
But I think
I really have a hard time seeing Washington come out of last place this year.
Okay.
I don't see them overtaking the Giants.
Really?
Okay.
I think the Giants' defense is there. I think they have the best defense in the NFC East. I think it depends on the Giants' wide receivers.
So
If
if
you
I
have
can make an
anything at
offer,
wide receiver, if they have anything at wide receiver, they can actually be kind of.
well, they got a
Last
lot at wide
wild card.
receiver.
Huh?
They got neighbors, and they got the kid Hyatt. So they have
Like
a
I
chance.
said,
They have a
if they
better
can
chance.
get anything out of the wide receivers this year, they
Right.
could do something. Philadelphia's Philadelphia. They're gonna win the NFC East. The Cowboys will probably be second. So
Okay.
after that, whatever.
That Washington
So if I can make a
surprise you.
suggestion, I think we should have clear production football preview show with everybody involved. And then, of course, you and Lee Ice do what you do on All In Football. But I think we should have a secondary show.
Got to take care of that in a couple of weeks. We'll be in Canada doing our preview show. So
Right. No, I understand that. But I'm just saying, I think as a group, we should do something. If we can.
Good idea.
we could.
And if we can't, then it's all good because everybody's going to do a preview show no matter what.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do it.
I think it would be more opinions all at one time might be good.
Yeah.
It's something to think about. See what I can do. But I just think Washington has a lot. They just can't. Their depth is not very good. I looked at their roster depth chart. I'm like, nah.
Well, there's another thing.
I think they have more depth than you think, but you know
How
what?
long-
I'll let you.
How long is Payne and Allen going to be around this season, though? I got a feeling one of them.
This is Allen's last year.
This is last year, so I think he's going to get shipped out.
If he makes it through the year.
If the Skins are not, competing for
trade
a wild card or whatever, they're going to
Well,
let
they
him
trade
go.
Yeah, I got a couple spots he's gonna probably end up at.
Who you think?
Okay.
Cleveland.
They already got a mean defense. Woo.
Cleveland.
Yeah,
Atlanta,
he'd be nice in there next to the big man.
New
They got
England,
two nice ends in Cleveland.
Miami. Those are spots.
Well, why would Miami reinvest in him when they didn't want to invest in Christian Wilkins?
Because he's a
Who
little.
was definitely, I think Wilkins is better than John Allen. I'm sorry.
Allen's a little younger, isn't he?
Nah, they're
They're
about the same
25,
age.
26.
Okay.
They're about the same age, and Wilkins just walked into his contract. So the only difference would be that Allen's sitting on a contract, his re-up, and Wilkins isn't. So there may be like a
I'll
year.
give you a sneaky
a year.
person that might invest in him, maybe. And I can see them doing this somewhere in the middle of the season. Kansas City.
I think
That's
either one of them.
another struggle for me
Why?
because they struggle. They struggle to pay.
Kansas City would very easy to get a second round or third round pick for him. Easy.
But I'm thinking money wise, you're already paying Christian Jones top of the level market money.
Kansas City's they're not even near the salary cap threshold.
Okay.
They're fine with the money. They're one of the like middle of the pack teams. That's what's
All right. That's
more
where
serious than
my
what you
question
are.
would come in.
Hmm?
So that's where my question would come in.
You gotta wrap it up.
We'll see.
1 minute.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for another edition of All In Sports Off the Record. I am the man BC. That is Jack Carr, JC, PG County's finest. And in the background, you heard the big dog. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening. All In Sports. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Good night.